I'm not ready at all.
He became the sun, I became the moon. Oh. Just gifts that we both receive. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Save It for the Pod, aka Save It for the Pod, aka the Unverified podcast. I'm your host, Keat.
Hi, Keat.
Hey, hi. And today we have our special guest, OG guest, Chuckie.
I just love being called a guest, even though I'm here all the time.
Literally, the OG. It's just us two today.
Yeah, and I like that.
Me too.
I do.
I like us. We have a good vibe.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
We need to get some plants. We need to get some plants in here. We need to make it a vibe.
Yeah.
Anyways, today we kind of have a pretty broad spectrum of things to talk about today.
Yeah, I know.
But the overall theme is pretty much a lot of like life stuff, kind of planning, and a little bit of like what our philosophies are in life. And so we're gonna start it off with looking into the future, into our plans for the year, and that is about what our plans for the summer are, which is in T-3 months.
I know.
For some of us.
You know what brought me to this?
What?
So I'm thinking, I'm just at home and I'm just power through like these tasks and these goals that I've set for myself for this time, and I feel like I'm aligned with everything that I told myself I was going to be doing around this time. And it got me thinking about, before the snowstorm hit, it was like kind of warm outside, and it had me thinking about like the summer, and I'm like
February, like that's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like what are my goals and what do I want for the summer, and how do I continuously want my life to change in the way that it's changing into you have to start preparing now for the future. And that goes with anything, but I'm just talking about as practical as a few months. So I don't know. I was thinking about some goals that I have though. Do you have any goals that you want to talk about before I talk about mine?
I did for the first time this year make a vision board. And yeah, and it's actually pretty cool because you're irritated.
Okay, sorry.
Because I saw this TikTok, and it was like this girl, and she was like, my vision board pictures, and it was like the slide where it has like the pictures, and it was like, and pictures from my camera roll, and it was comparing like the pictures and pretty much how she fulfilled her time during that year. And I was like, oh wow, that's super dope. And so CoverGirl actually is the one who told me to like, hey, like you should get a vision board, like you should do that. And I finally made one for this year, and I already have like some pictures that are very similar to it, and I feel pretty fulfilled with that, which is super dope. And everything that's happening with like the new video, because like that was one of my goals, was to film a music video, and now we're about to do that in a week.
We are about to do that, aren't we?
Yeah, stay tuned for that.
Stay tuned. It's gonna be a lot of work.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think that like a lot of my goals for the summer are definitely around like having like building blocks for more of like trying to build, stepping stones for my career, if we call it that, for my art and a lot of stuff like that. And I think doing that, but also just like, I mean, it's summer. Like there's so many things that I'm like, oh, I want to do that this summer. But I just know that I'm on a journey of, and not to like, I am like, a lot of people can say, oh, I'm healing. Oh, I'm on a journey of like loving myself. But like, I really am. And like just in the past couple of months, like I've felt so much growth, and just knowing that I'm still gonna, like, my journey is still going, and it's still going forward, to see where that's gonna go, especially with the support of summer. I'm very excited to look forward to that.
Before we started this though, before the cameras were on, I'm like setting stuff up, and then you hit me with like the question when you said, are you happy with your life? That's a deep question.
It is.
Why did you ask me that?
I don't know.
Before we even started, like, I thought we was gonna save all that for like when the camera started rolling. But as soon as like I was setting up, you were like, you hit me with that. What's that about? What made you ask me that question?
I don't know. I don't even remember where it came from. But something like made me think of it. I don't know. Sometimes I just get in moods where I just feel like being vulnerable and talking about things for real.
Do you think I'm happy with my life?
I mean, I can't say. It looks like you're happy and it seems like it, but nobody ever truly knows. And that's the craziest thing. And like, that's really crazy to me because you will really think that people are okay and having a good time and are happy when it could be like the darkest time in their life and you might never know.
Yeah.
And I think that also relates to not truly knowing a person.
Yeah.
And this is really off topic, but like I've been reflecting a lot about trust and knowing people and relationships with people and not romantic. And just kind of how all of that relates and how it's like you think that you can like confidently say, oh, I know that person. I know all their tics. I know like all their facial expressions or like, you know, how they're going to react to something or whatever. Like, you know them inside out. And there are instances when like you really don't, like you think you do, but they could have a whole other life, a whole other personality. And that's just like really hurtful to me. Because it's just kind of like, I value human connection. Like, just discussing philosophies in my life, like I value human connections so much and I love talking to people and connecting and relating to each other and just being able to be vulnerable and truthful people. And it's very hurtful to know that, like, because how deeply trust is tied into these things, it's hurtful to know that as even if you think that you know that person or you trust that person and like whatever, you never truly do. And that's a really hard thing for me to grasp. And I don't know what made me think of that. It might have been because of a book I was reading. I don't even know, but it just really had me thinking about trust and knowing people and stuff like that.
So when you find out something else about somebody, like when you say like you think you know them but then you don't, does that make you upset with them?
I'm sure it would make me upset with them. And there have been instances where people try to tell me that I didn't know them. And I was like, you're a damn lie. I know you. But I don't know. It's just hurtful because it's like, damn, like I can't, like, why can't we just have trust? Why can't we just be?
Why can't we just show ourselves?
Yeah.
For who we are?
Yeah. And you know,
think people are ready for that, Keat?
I don't know.
Like if you show who you are, do you think people are ready for that?
I don't know. Because it really depends on who you share your energy with and who you share your space with.
Here's a better question. Have you shown yourself to somebody for real before?
It depends on in what sense. Because like for me, I don't very often actively think about how I'm acting and trying to be someone that I'm not or trying to be myself. I just do. I just am. I just exist. And sometimes someone's like vibe might be off and it'll make me like rethink that and I might like shut down a little bit or back off a little bit. But unless something like that happens where I'm like where I'm like where it's brought to my attention how I might be acting, I just am. I just be, and I don't know.
So if someone breaks you down, like if someone who has spent time with you and they know you and they challenge you on things, how do you respond to those? Like for someone who hangs out with you all the time and they like see your good side and your bad side and like your pros and cons and your, you know, your good stuff and your flaws or whatever the case may be. If someone is pointing out your flaws or something that could be corrected, and they're like calling you out like on you because that's who you are presenting and that's what you're kind of showcasing whether you know it or not, do you receive stuff like that? Well,
I think I'm confused by your question.
So like if someone's getting to know you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not opening up fully to your knowledge, but like someone who's been around you a lot, they're kind of like seeing you for who you are, and good or bad, whatever the case may be. And they're what I'm asking is they're trying to maybe even kind of get to know you even further than that. Not saying romantically or anything like that, but they just want to get to know you even further. Do you accept that? Or do you
Like, do I accept them trying to get to know me? Yeah, I do.
Because when people try to get to know you, it's like they're like challenges though. It's not like getting to know someone isn't always like a friendly like type of journey. Like when you get to know somebody, when you get to know people, sometimes you have to fight them first to like get to know them. Like sometimes you have to, when you really get to
like
know,
I get that.
Like when you get like I'm not fist fight or nothing like that, but like when you argue with somebody, you like, dang, why did we actually go there? It's because I made you feel this way because of something that happened that makes me know something that happened in your past that makes us know each other even further. Yeah. And like,
I think people argue because they care. If people are like, why do we argue so much? Why do we do this? And I think it is like situational sometimes, but I think that like if you don't argue, if you don't have disagreements, if you don't do that, you're not learning each other. You're not learning, you know, what is and isn't okay, what each other's boundaries are, what, you know, like you're not learning.
Yeah.
And people, like, you're never gonna truly 100% know someone because we are always changing. And that's why relationships are so interesting to me, because not just romantic, but like relationships in general. That's why they're so interesting to me, because people change all the time. And it's not because they can't be who they are and they need to change or anything like that. It's just the way of life. And I think that if you don't continue to change with that person and change together and continue to argue and learn each other and, you know, whatever, like things that are boundaries now might not be boundaries anymore, or vice versa. And I think that if you don't continue to challenge that respectfully, you know, not like in a negative way where you're constantly like fighting those boundaries, but like just kind of like checking in and relearning them and doing all these things and, you know, arguments, fights, whatever, like that's just the natural way of things. Yeah. And that's just kind of like how we are as a species. And so I feel like if that isn't happening, I feel like that's not a full-on I don't want to say it's a full-on relationship, because I'm not one to judge people's relationships, but I feel like that's not like if someone told me they were in a relationship with someone, romantic, whatever, and they were like, oh yeah, like we never fight, it's so good, like whatever, I'd be like, oh, you're in the honeymoon phase for real. Because if you're not, like, I just don't understand that. I just feel like that's not, you haven't gone all the way yet. You haven't.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, I mean, there's evading and avoidance of things like that. Like a lot of people like are afraid of confrontation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, that's just what it is. Whether you're in the honeymoon phase or not, people can have good times all the time because they're afraid to confront people, and they've been together.
But is it really good times though? Because you could have good times, but you're still gonna feel some type of way.
Oh, I mean, sure, they could definitely be like good times. I'm not even judging good times on people. I'm just saying to get to like the root of stuff. Like you like a lot of times, the majority of the time, probably all the time, you have to have some sort of butting heads, because
I agree.
Because it's impossible to agree with everything with everyone about everything all the time.
I agree.
So yeah, that's all I was asking. I was just, and I don't know if that means, which ties into another thing that I have on here, but I didn't actually put on here, but I was thinking about.
Yeah.
Is for the summer is meeting new friends, whether that be a romantic interest, whether that be just regular friends, whether that just be like a new brother that I might meet, I don't know, or a new sister I might meet, or a new they I might meet. I don't know how people are identifying these days, but that's my point. My point is that
that's one of my goals, to meet my sister this summer, to find her.
Yeah, you want to talk about that?
Sure, we can talk about it.
We can
talk about it.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Do you want to find your sister?
Yeah.
Keat has a sister, guys, and she just found out about her.
Well, I found out about her in the summer. I have a half sister, and
how old is she presuming to be? I don't know how old she's at. She's older though, right?
Yeah. No, she's younger.
I mean, like older, like.
Oh no, she's like definitely like 15, 16.
Yeah, like older person. Yeah, that's what I
mean. Currently searching for her. Don't know where her and her mom are. And I don't know what she looks like either, so I can't just like look her up on social media because it would be so easy to find people. But I'm searching for her. Her name is Kennedy, possibly Kennedy St. Main, maybe from New Brighton, Minnesota. So if y'all know her, send her my way.
You think St. Main? You think so?
Well, that's my dad's last name, and I was told. I don't remember where that came into play, but apparently she has some affiliation with his last name for some reason. Don't know why. If it's not that, I think it's Jackson.
Maybe.
I think it's
Kennedy Jackson?
I think her mom's last name is Jackson. From New Brighton, Minnesota. Pretty sure. Her mom's name is Lanice. So if you guys know these people, I'm your sister.
Hit us up. What's the social media? Hit us up on the social.
Kennedy, like if your mom's name if your mom's name is Lanice, we might have a relationship.
Yeah.
But yeah, hit us up on the Unverified 612 socials and be like, hey, I think I'm your sister.
So that's one of your goals though, is to find your sister.
Yeah, my dad and I are currently searching for her. Yeah, we're currently searching for her, and there haven't been any new things with that. But I'm currently trying to find my half sister because I grew up an only child. I had siblings and stuff, but I grew up an only child. And I don't know, and I just found out this summer in a very interesting way, and it was just so weird. I don't know. It was
crazy time.
Yeah,
I was there.
You were there. Yeah, that was when we were first starting the podcast.
Yeah,
and we talked about it too on a podcast that wasn't released. Yeah, we have like a ton of episodes. Like we have like footage, but a lot of it is just not out.
I know.
We did recover the lost tapes of our last episode, so that's going to be posted before this one, and
which was a really good one.
It was so good. I cannot wait to watch it again. We thought we lost it, and oh my god, that day it was painful. But what were you talking about? What were you asking?
No, I was just saying what I wanted to kind of do in the summer. Whether it be just making friends, whether it be making,
right to left.
Whether it be releasing music. I really want to release music this time around.
Can't wait. He's going to be featured on Unverified, guys. So
yeah, I have really good songs.
I agree. There are some songs on there that I mess with.
Yeah, I have some really good songs.
Yeah, I'm interested. I can't wait for the album release.
I think the biggest thing about that though is about releasing like music is I do want people to like hear it, and I feel like I have a method of how to do that. But I also want to be like ready to release music.
When was the last time you dropped music? When was your last album release? It was when I was in high school.
2018.
Wow.
And I took it off of social media. Wow. It was actually doing really well.
Really?
Yeah.
I never listened to it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, I wouldn't expect you to.
They had a little plaque for you in the media center that said, listen to Chuckie Duke's new album. And I was like, this motherfucker makes music.
Yeah, I know. And that's fine. You didn't have to listen to it. But a lot of people actually did, though.
That's good. Come through.
But
supporters.
I took it all off of social media for various reasons.
Oh, okay.
Various reasons.
Okay.
But yeah, I just rather just stay to myself for right now until probably not anymore. Like I really feel like I want to put myself back out there.
That's good. That's cool. That's an interesting thing to know, like when that happens.
Yeah.
I have some people in my life who were not necessarily like out there, so like on social media or like other things, and they just recently like just decided like to kind of like come back into that world and like come back into stuff like that, and it's a very interesting phenomena. Yeah,
it's gonna be fun. I have so many ideas for like music videos and like concepts.
Yeah, we got plans for him,
and it's based off a true story, off of a few true stories. You can't tell by listening to them, but if you like,
if you know.
If you listen intricately, you can be like, this really happened. You can't tell if you like listen to it.
If you know.
Yeah. You have to like really listen to the words and hear how I'm telling the story, and you'll understand what I'm saying. Absolutely. And it's catchy and it's fire. It's gonna be a great time.
Looking forward to it. Really looking forward to it.
And I have a lot of songs, so I'm gonna condense them. And I'm either gonna condense them into three projects, or I'm gonna condense them into two. So I'm either gonna split them in half or divide them by thirds. Don't know yet.
Mathematics.
I know. I don't know yet. Because I don't think they all match. I think
the songs.
Yeah, I think. We got 5 minutes. I think that because I have like 12. I think
songs.
Yeah, I think I have 12, and 4 of them are like rapping. Other 4 are like R&B.
I have to hear. I haven't heard like the whole thing. I need to hear it.
And the other 4 are like kind of like really like newish type of innovative type of songs, like not like anything that's gonna like that's undigestible, but they're like you can't really define them. I have 4 songs like that, so I don't know yet.
Well, I'm excited to hear the whole album and work through that with you and watch you do that, and
it's gonna be a great time. And I'm excited to help you find your sister.
Thanks.
That's gonna be a great time.
Thanks.
Hey,
Is it recording?
it should. Yeah, it's recording.
Okay.
I don't know which
And
button.
we're back.
I just pressed the button.
Great. Okay, so moving on.
We ball.
Anyways, so another thing that I wanted to discuss today was kind of talking about our life philosophies and how we move through our life.
Who really has a life philosophy, Keat?
Well, for me, like that means kind of like how I live my life and like how certain things, like how I live, like how my own philosophy, like of how I live my life. So by that I mean like I live my life with this like feeling of it's kind of like, I don't want to say like, it's kind of like your own personal religion, like what you believe in and like what you stand by and like what you kind of go by. It's just like what your life is like. And so for me, there's been this thing that I've been like thinking about a lot lately, and it's the whole epiphany and like, you know, like let's just do it. You know, like for example, like something extravagant, like saying I'm gonna move to Italy, or I'm gonna go like travel Europe for 6 months and backpack. You know, just saying fuck it and just like doing it.
Yeah.
And like that can relate to so many things. And I want to say that I'm trying to incorporate more of that into my life.
I'm
Because
just saying like, F it, I'm about to just do.
yeah, fuck it, we ball.
Fuck it, we ball.
But just kind of like, it does come up a lot in decisions that I make about certain things, especially when I'm like looking forward and stuff. And I don't know, it's just kind of like a thing that always kind of comes up whenever I'm needing to make a decision about stuff. And I'm just kind of like, are you following this philosophy of your life? Like, are you allowing the space for that, or are you just like playing it safe? Does that make sense?
Yeah, a lot of things that I feel like you're talking about, more so when you say philosophies, I understand that, but I typically call them more like principles.
Yeah.
Like I live like really principled on stuff. Yeah. Like there's a lot of topics of integrity that I really like to like preach. For example, like we're talking even with career stuff, like the reason that one might be presented an opportunity, especially with youth work. Like I get presented with opportunities all the time to do something like that's considerably around youth work. And I think that only happens is because my integrity is intact about like a lot of things. So when you stand on stuff like that in youth work, because everything's so fragile and, you know, it's really, you really have to be true and honest to keep jobs surrounded by youth work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like you can't misstep, you can't be inappropriate, you can't be like you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things you have to uphold in doing stuff like that. So I like talk about living principled, or you know,
What are your principles then?
So well, it depends on what we're talking about. We're talking about youth work. Not crossing any boundaries. I like being inappropriate, even certain times, especially like unless it's an emergency, I'm not talking to a kid past a certain time at night. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking to you know what I mean? Like there's just like, for example, we have a youth who's who has stuff going on, and that person calls on me for like help a lot, and I tell them like I cannot help you in that way. Like, you know what I mean? Like I can't do stuff for you. I can't go get this for you. I can't do that for you. I can't do that. Like there's stuff like that I cannot do. And that goes on with like a lot of different things. Or if we're talking about in just life, if we're talking about like with friends, like really working on being honest about who you are and how you present yourself the first time, and having that continue, so you don't have to continue on a relationship, whether it be friendship or just romantic. You don't have to continue that into a lie. Like usually if you present yourself in a certain way and it's not true, and you want to continue with the person that you're talking to, whether it be, like I said, whether it be platonic or romantic, like you have to keep that up, because that's what drew them in the first place. So just being honest from the jump. Like there's a lot of times, even I'm guilty of this, but there's a lot of times where people like to give a false first impression so they can, you know, a lot of relationships aren't like jobs. We're not applying for jobs when we're doing this. We're trying to be friends, but like jobs are a little bit different. Even on a job, you can't be dishonest. If you're being dishonest and someone finds you out, you're gonna get fired. If you're being dishonest when you're trying to meet a new friend and they find out, you're gonna lose a friend, or you're gonna lose a relationship, or you're gonna lose a connection. You're gonna burn a bridge. All those type of things you have to weigh out if what's worth it or not. And when you're honest and you're building up something with a great foundation, it's hard to break that down it's hard to break that down, one, and it's hard for someone to knock you off your game. Like you have to keep going. It's easy to keep going when you're not pretending. Does that make sense? So there's a lot of things that I like to practice, and I'm not perfect on any of this by any means, but it's something that you continuously work on. And I'm not hiding it either. Like I know I struggle with a lot of things that I'm trying to keep a line for myself as well. So it's just being honest in that. Like for example, even when Mr. Dennis came in and he was talking about like going to church, like he was like, yeah, you're gonna be there, but you're gonna be there on time. Like, yeah, I'm trying to be there on time. Like I told him, like I'm really gonna try to be there on time, because last couple weeks I have not been. But like I'm not gonna lie and be like, man, I've been trying, but you know my alarm won't go off. Like nah, I've been like really slipping. But I'm not trying to uphold, like I was trying to get there on time and I just couldn't. Like I really just didn't get there on time. But that's something that I'm trying to work on. So, but that's just a small example of what I'm trying to say. So that's all. And in my mentality for like life, I don't know. Like you have on here, like I'm not the same person that I was last year. It's funny you say that, because how old are you, Keat? You're about to be 19, or
I'm 18. I'm almost 19.
Yeah, you're about to be 19. So like and when you said that, because we were talking about music and we were talking about songs that came out when you were like in the 3rd grade, and I was in college at that time. You were in college. Yeah, and I was just thinking about how even when I was in college, of the songs that I can't even remember the song was, but whatever the song was playing, I was like, I wouldn't even listen to that really right now in life, because that's just not what I like am into anymore. That doesn't mean the song is bad. That's just something I'm not really rocking with. And just to think of the age difference between like you're 19, about to be 19, and I'm about to be 30 this year. So it's like, it's just thinking about how times like have changed for like my life, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna change for your life too.
They are.
Yeah, and it's like a big change.
Yeah, I'm going through large transitions at the moment.
Yeah. When I was 19, I was like dumb.
What are you trying to say, Chuck?
I was dumb. I didn't say you were dumb. I said I was dumb. That has nothing to do with you. There's a lot of kids that I run past, and yes, I'm calling you a kid for these purposes, but there's a lot of kids that I like come across who are 10 times smarter than me, who look at me like I'm the smartest guy in the room. And that's, even if that's true like right now.
Because of your age or because of how they know you?
I don't know what it is, but a lot of times if it's something about like the role model thing or like the position you're in. I could be the dumbest person ever, but you wouldn't know that because of how I'm presenting myself in that way before I even open my mouth, which is something that I'm working on as well. But what I'm saying is, like, a lot of kids that I meet, they know stuff that I did not know at 19, but they look at me for advice as if I knew. Yeah, but they look at me for advice as if I knew what I was supposed to do at that age. They're like, well, how did you get through high school with X, Y, and Z? If I'm honest, I struggled through high school. Like, you know what I mean? But they look at me like as if I had straight A's and I didn't, like at all. I never failed a class, but I but I wasn't like, I made the honor roll like small amount of times.
Me too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Graduated
Like I had a horrible ACT score. I got to college though.
I never took mine.
But my point, how did you take what?
I didn't take any of them.
You didn't take anything? You just got in? Crazy.
It's times are different. It was because of the pandemic, but it was also because like.
Oh, that's right. You did graduate during like that time.
Yeah. It was because like things are changing with having to take those tests, and then also because of the pandemic. Thank God, I got so lucky that I didn't have to do that.
They did waive everything.
Things are starting to change now, though, where like that type of testing is also being.
Yeah.
Because tests are that's a whole other thing.
ACTs was hard for me. And it wasn't even, and the questions was simple, but I just felt like they was trying to trick me the whole time. I mean,
tests are just, it's not a good system.
Yeah. It's fading.
We're going to have an episode about the education system.
That's fine. That's fine.
That's going to be a heated episode for me.
What was your question?
My question is, do you think being a youth now is different than it has been in the past, not only in your decade but also in like the 2000s and the 90s, and just kind of going back like what it means to be a youth, especially like a teenager around that time, and how it is different generationally, but do you think it is, in your perspective, do you think that it is because it's obviously different. So, like, what do you think the differences are in your perspective of, like, what it is now?
I think
for kids,
I don't think that there's a huge difference in terms of how youth react to certain things or how they are personality wise. There's not that big of a difference. For example, if we had TikTok and when I was in high school, we might have been on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we were on Vine, and people was like,
so was I.
But I'm saying, like, I don't think it's that different. So I think the decisions are different because of the resources that you guys have, and the seamlessness of a lot of, I don't think that's a word, but like a lot of things that you guys have. You know what I mean? For
our exposure is different.
Yeah, like you guys can have access to a lot of things that we didn't have. I don't think that makes you guys different. I just think that makes you guys. And people like to say like lazy and stuff like that. Like, you guys are lazy. You guys don't work as hard as like we did, or like things like that. But I just think that if you don't have to work as hard as we did, why would you? I do think that you guys take a lot of things for granted, though. But people,
like what things?
But like older people said that about us too. I just like, for example, shout out to my boy Oboyo, but I was watching his podcast, and he was talking about him and his homeboy. I think he's a DJ or whatever. But they was talking about a landline, and like, if you think about it, my older sister had to call whoever she had to call, like if somebody was late for school or something like that, or late picking
I had numbers memorized.
But like, she had to like use a payphone to like call people to like tell her to come pick her up. I never had to do that, and not because I might have had to, but every school I went to was like close, or I had the luxury of someone being able to come pick me up. I don't know if I ever took that for granted, but what I'm saying is, like, I didn't have to use a payphone to call somebody to come pick me up. And then when I got to high school, I had a stable cell phone, so I never had to like. Did you ever have a pager? No, I mean, I had one. I had one because I had access to it, but I never like had one to be like, "Yo, look at this beeper I got on my hip." I just had one that's like an antique. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just an antique, but it wasn't like something that I like had to use. And at that time,
I can't imagine you.
Yeah, like no, I had a pager. I had a flip phone and a pager, but I didn't use the pager. I just used it because I just saw it because I was like, "Ooh, that's fire!" Yeah. But I never used it. I had I had my first phone was a flip phone, but a lot of first phone was like a bar phone, like the Nokia joint. And if we're talking about the '90s, everybody had like the little antenna joint. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So it's just a different time. But yeah, I don't know how different, if I'm honest with you, like as far as like personality wise. But
I think this is something that I was talking about in my Spanish class.
What I do think, though, before you say what you're about to say, I do think the exposure of how of how not just youth though, but just people. I think today's times expose how big followers people are. People love to follow people subconsciously. They don't even know that they're like following people, but they're following people. And I think that's like annoying. It's like clear as day of how people aren't like originators of anything no more. People aren't trying to be innovative. People are literally just copying what the next person is doing.
Yeah.
And that goes for personality, that goes for like music, that goes for
I think that
dressing.
goes into like that ties into identity though. So I think a lot of people, anyone, and this goes for any generation, I feel like, is identity and figuring out what that is. And sometimes it's easier, and I think it's people think that it's easier, and that it's like less emotionally challenging or like harder, just easier and safer to follow someone else and be a part of the masses rather than be themselves or something else. And I think that that's a misconception because people are hurt by then not being themselves and then losing their identity. I have a friend who has like said that she pretty much has lost her identity because she has been playing a role for so long. Right.
And that's scary to get to.
It is. And I think that like social media obviously is going to tie into that, but I think that that's always been a thing because like even looking back on different generations, there always have been the archetypes, like the nerds, the popular girls, and like okay, I just watched The Breakfast Club again for the first
the one in the 80s.
Yeah, I just watched that again, and I watched it when I was younger, but I just watched it again, and it's actually kind of a deep movie. Like it's
very deep.
It's a deep movie. Yeah. And it's a good movie, but like it is deep and it like definitely like made me kind of like think about things and reflect on things, obviously. And it was just the archetypes of these things and the discussion, and even in the 80s, like discussing these things about how like people conform to these identities and these what is it called? Like when you have like these different groups and these different like places in society and in high school, and how they were like, if I saw you on Monday, like I wouldn't like we wouldn't say hi to each other because we are who we are, because we associate with who we associate. And some of them were like, oh, I'm worried about what my friends would say, or like whatever, and like all these things. And that's always been a thing. Yeah. And I think that people think that it's easier to conform to that, when in reality, like I think that it isn't, because that's going to be more hurtful. I feel like that may be more hurtful to yourself and your identity to do that than get bullied or picked on or whatever for being who you are. For me, I was bullied. I'm pretty sure everyone has been through that phase, but in elementary where I went, things were just crazy. Crazy. They loved threatening to kill me. I got death threats from them. They hated me. And so, but like I think I would, and I don't know, but like I feel like it may be, I don't know. I can't say which one is better. There isn't one. But I just think that it's equally as you're lying to yourself if you think that it's easier to conform and be somebody else and like whatever than just being yourself. They're equally as hurtful and harmful. Yeah. You know? And so I think that that's just like a misconception for people. And it's easier said than done to say, oh, be yourself. Oh, do this, do that. Because identity is one of the hardest things in society, and that relates to so many different aspects of sense of self. Yeah. You know? And people are in their 50s, 60s, you know, very later in life and are still not sure who they are and what their identity is, and that's because they've probably conformed to something else and have ignored that and just done what was expected of them or whatever. And never really identified and grew like within themselves and their own identity. So they just became someone else, or just became someone of the masses where they didn't have to have an individual, you know, identity.
I feel like a lot of times a lot of people are in situations where, like you just said, like they're just playing a part. Yeah. Like they're always playing a part. And if you don't know what you're doing, and you know that some people know it and they don't know how to do anything else, so they have to keep playing that part just to just to stay alive. Like a lot of people are in relationships, and I'm speaking from a guy's perspective, when they're in a relationship with a woman they really don't want to be with, or they're really like aggravated with, they're trying to get their point across. They don't know how to do it because, like what I said from earlier, like a lot of times you start off dishonestly, or there's a certain point where you started off being dishonest, and then it continues. You're
like so far gone that you can't even go back.
Yeah, and then a lot of people don't even remember where they started the lie at.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying?
Yes, and it's yes.
And another thing is though, when you do find out where you started the lying, and you realize it was 10 years ago, like
that time,
and then when you try to correct it, it gets messy because then you have to go back and you have to chop down and you have to get
unload all that.
But I will say that for me in certain relationships that I'm talking about, once I got to the root of it, whether it been 2 years or a few months or whatever, once I found out where the dishonesty started, once I got to that, and after all the damage and the calamity was all over with, everything started getting clearer, and every day started getting sunnier and sunnier and sunnier and sunnier, and it will get sunnier as long as you continue to be honest. It's gonna hurt for a long time depending on the variance of what the dishonesty was, but once you face it, it'll get better all the time, majority of the time.
It is never too late to start again, to begin again.
That's right.
Yeah, it's never too late, and
well said.
There is a space for everyone. There is always a space for everyone. There is someone out there for you.
Yeah.
And that can relate to so many different things.
Speaking of spaces for everyone, you said something to me before too. How much time we got? We got about 5 minutes.
Okay, let's just do this last thing.
Okay, so you said, speaking of spaces, you said you're really happy about this space.
Yeah,
earlier.
I really
what is it about this space? Not like this space, but just like the tech center in general. There's so much stuff here. But I know you said that. So what made you say something about you really enjoy this space? I need to know.
I don't know, Chuck. I think it's because it's the first space where I've actually really, other than Black Box, it's the first space where I've really done something for what I'm interested in my art. Like I said, except for Black Box or little theater things here and there. This is the first space where I have that, but it's also because I don't know. I really don't know how to put it into words. It just is a safe space for me, and it just is a community of people. And I'm not even really tied into it like that, but I know that the people that are here, the kids that are here associated with this tech center specifically, and with PYC and stuff, there's so much beauty in that, and there's so much importance in outreach and community connections, and having a safe space for these kids and getting them involved, even if it's just having them come here after school and they don't even have to do anything. Just having that is so important, especially because it's tied to the arts. But I just think that having a community like this is so important, and I'm not even tied into it like that. I don't know a lot of people that are usuals here, except for a couple. But I think it's. I would like to say that it's important for people who are from this community too over north. Yeah. I'm not a part of that community, but this still is a safe space for me, and it still is a place for me. And I don't know how to say why, but it just is. I don't know.
Great. That's great. I just wanted to know, because I didn't expect you to say that. Just like I didn't expect you to ask me if I like my life right now.
I didn't say if you liked your life. I said, are you happy?
Am I happy? That's, to me, that heard the same thing. But
well, when we come back, we'll discuss if he's happy or not.
Yeah, we'll come back. All right.
Anyways, circling back, how do you feel about this space for yourself, and how it affects your life, and why you continue to come here and be happy about it?
You mean my job?
Yeah. Why do you? Yeah.
Because it's a good time. Something about my job, working in the tech center though, specifically, is that one, before I even get to the youth, it's the staff that I kind of work with. It's really rare that you come to a job where all the staff are staff of color, specifically Black staff. majority of the staff that I am here with are like black. Like, and I'm talking about like black.
And how does that make the experience for you?
It makes the experience like different. Like, it's more homey when I get here because I feel like a lot of things are really relatable to like a day-to-day basis. And that's even before I even touch down on what my duties are in my job. And like coming here, a lot of kids that come here are all different. Like, some are really from this community, some are not from this community. But everyone comes here to like learn something. Like, for example, like when you were talking about, this is giving you an outlet to learn how to kind of do what we're doing right now, or even shooting this video that we're planning on shooting. And then kids that want to come and learn how to record in the studio, videos, whatever the case may be, like, they're coming to learn it here. And now also, even when people just come, they just come because they want to kick it, because they like the vibe and the environment. And that's something that, like I was talking about before, with the integrity and being honest, and just kind of keeping that an option to do when you're here, is to be honest and, you know, uphold your standards and whatever the case may be. Like, that type of stuff is fun, and I feel like I can control a lot of that, and I want to build on that even more and more. So I really enjoy coming here for those reasons.
Is this a safe space for you?
It's
okay if it's not.
It is. It can be hard though, because I feel like a lot of people at the ages of 19 and under depend on me for like stuff. That's hard. Yeah. Because a lot of them do.
Bitch, I'm a mother. No drama.
I'm trying to tell you though, like, it's hard when they really count on you for like stuff, and you have to like be there for them. It's not hard to be there for them, but it's hard to be there for all of them. That's hard. But yeah, it is a safe space. It just gets difficult at times. It gets difficult at times because, honestly, especially being in the position I'm in, like, you have to be considerate of other people's feelings, and they're valid because they feel them. So like, it doesn't matter if I think something isn't as important as what a youth is coming to me and telling me. It's important to them, and I have to like try to figure out how to navigate that and to make their needs met, whether I deem them important or not. It's important to you, so it's important. So I have to find a way to like make that work. Yeah. And that's hard.
Yeah. Are you happy, Chuck?
I am actually. I am actually very happy. I'm happy with my life. I'm happy with the decisions that I've made. I'm happy that I'm minding my business. I'm very happy about that.
Oh, in what way?
In a lot of ways. In ways that don't include other people. So I'm minding my business.
Yeah, the past's been trying to come back at you, but
I know,
you're not folding.
Man, look, I was talking to my guy Kyle yesterday, who brought up something that, was it yesterday or 2 days ago? He brought up something that really, because I shared with him, and it involved somebody I was involved with romantically, and she now is with somebody. But we talked about it, and we were just talking about how like dang, she really tried to like come back, and I'm like, she really tried. She really did though. Yeah. But she had a man though, right? Yeah. But it's just crazy how like I'm minding my business. Like, why are you messing with me? Like, why are you even messing with me? Like, just leave me alone. Like, that's all.
You want me to bleep that out?
No, I don't give a damn. I really don't. Okay. I really don't care.
Okay.
But it's like, come on. Like, I'm really minding my business. That's just an example, but stuff like that happens all the time. Not romantic stuff, but like just stuff people will try you and test you spiritually. If depending on what you believe in, the devil will try to knock you off your game when you are not paying him any attention. It's just the truth. It's just the truth.
What is it with you and the devil and calling her evil?
I'm not talking about her. No, I wasn't talking about her.
I thought you were talking about her.
No, I'm just talking about spiritually, just in general. Like,
I was going to say, damn, Chuck, you sure you don't want me to cut this out?
I'm not calling her. No, I'm not calling her the devil. Whew.
You call her evil, though.
She is.
Okay.
Oh, she is. No, she's not evil, but she's actually cool though. Like I actually don't have any like ill will or frustrations with her. No, not at all. It's just for my life though. Like, don't interrupt that. Don't interrupt that because you got your stuff going on and you need to be mended for your own personal reasons. Like, don't shift that over to me. That's all I'm saying. But but respectfully, there's nothing but good vibrations with that.
That's good.
You know, so I'm fine.
That's good.
I am happy. Are you happy?
It's such a complicated question. I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know. I just feel like it's like a complicated question. I don't know. I think I'm on a journey, and I don't know. I don't know, Chuck. I don't know. I'm not happy. But I think I'm, like I said, I'm going through transitional periods, and just as one does, and at this age, and I'm going through that whole thing and figuring out life and stuff like that. But I'm not unhappy. I just think that I'm like just transitioning, and I don't have like a concrete thing to be like, oh, I am happy about my life, because like it's being built. I'm happy where it's going, and I'm glad that I am doing the things that I'm doing to be better and stable. I don't know, but like, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, are you happy? I don't know. It's a complicated question for me, but
I think the more descriptive answer to that question, though, if you asking me that question, I am happy, but it's very difficult for me right now.
Yeah,
it's very difficult for me right now. But I'm very happy though. Nonetheless, I actually am, and that's why I think I'm able to make it through what I'm like the times that I'm going through right now.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. Do you have anxiety when you wake up?
Well, okay. It depends on the day. The past couple of days I've had like really good. I've just dreamt, which hasn't happened for a while, which always kind of makes me happy. But I love waking up and like being in your bed and just like feeling comfortable, like physically, but also just kind of like chill or like happy. And like I went to bed last night excited for today, and I woke up and it was chill and like whatever. I wasn't excited, but I also wasn't like anything. But I don't know. It comes in waves. It fluctuates. It really like every day is different, and you have to wake up and like make that choice. And the morning decides a lot for me. And I don't know. Most of the time, like I can't even say, Chuck, it fluctuates so much.
Will you be happy in the summer?
Hell yeah. I don't want to put like all this pressure on summer, because like I don't like humidity, and I don't like it when it's really hot, but just like the thought of summer and just the aesthetic, and like I don't know, I feel like summer is so overhyped, but at the same time like I do it because I think we all need an excuse to be better and for something to look forward to, especially being Minnesotans. I
can't wait for winter.
Okay, Chuck, we're in winter right now.
Or I can't wait for summer.
Yeah,
I'm in summer.
Wow. I think we all can't wait for it, and we all have our own reasons, but it's kind of like an understanding of like, you know, and it's just like, but I feel like I've been saying that so much. I need to take a break. I need to take a break from saying I'm excited for summer and all that, because it's just chill out.
Yeah.
But I agree for what it holds and for what it means. And I'm just like, I just have like a larger life in summer, because the days are longer and I'm active for so long of the day. Like the days are like 20-hour days.
Yeah.
And not even just like working, but just like living my life and doing these different things. And I think the sun and the weather, just like seasonal depression is real, and just having like different weather circumstances affects people so much. And so I think just having that. I also am tired of the dorm food. I'm ready to have like good quality food again, because my body is over this. But I don't know. I just So I mean, it's funny too, because like before every summer, everyone's like, this summer is gonna be one for the books, or like this summer is gonna be the best one ever. This summer is gonna be this and that. When every summer is gonna be like that, which is great. Summer is like that time, you know. It's just like this like universal time where everyone's like, you had to be there, you know. And I'm so happy that we all have those times in our life, and having summer be that, okay, great, you know. And I don't know, but I'm looking forward to it. I don't want to hype it up too much, because I don't want to hype it up too much. Yeah. But
it's gonna be a time.
Yeah. Do you want me to ask this last question? I don't really.
What's the last question?
It's the one about exposure to depression and stuff.
We can save that for later.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, guys.
Go ahead.
Anyways, guys, we hope that you were able to connect with us through this episode, and
absolutely,
we're happy that you guys are supporting us in this safe space, and continue to take care of yourselves, and remember that it is never too late to start again. And summer is coming.
It is.
Grin emoji. Summer is coming. Okay, email. Anyways,
sorry.
This has been Save It for the Pod. I am your host, Keat. Yeah.
I'm Chuck.
And we will see you guys next time.
Peace.